You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland football show. I'm Scott McPike. It's an absolute pleasure to be your host as always. I'm delighted to welcome this week's special guest. It's a privilege to introduce Colin Reilly, the Vale of Clyde manager. Colin, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks very much, Scott. I appreciate the offer to come on.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Looking forward to it. We'll touch about, and obviously Vale of Clyde start to the season, but obviously it's 150th anniversary of the club. A lot of a monumentous kind of occasion for the club. How much is it? What's the kind of occasion been like for the club so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's massive for the club, 150 years, as you've said. The club's they're looking forward to the season ahead. They went ahead and got centenary strips, they've got speakers night sort of planned and stuff like that. So the committee in the back are certainly try to make it as an eventful piece as it can. We've also got Lee Morrison, who's been at the club just over 10 years. So we're trying to do a testimonial sort of period for him as well during that time of it being the anniversary. So it'll be nice sort of to jump on the back of that for Lee.
Yeah, absolutely as well. And obviously the whole thing with a big occasion like that, with a monumental season, as you want the season to start well on the park, and it certainly has. We'll just go through your kind of season so far. Sitting with 6 wins out of 7 games, sitting in 18 points, 3 points behind Kello, but as we'll talk about later on, that league is very, very competitive. You must be really pleased with the start of the season because there's a lot of really good results. As we say, Saturday you went to Vale of Clyde and won 4-0. There's big results against East Kilbride. Some really, really impressive results so far. You must be delighted with how it's went so far.
Yeah, we've started well. We took it from pre-season. Pre-season went really well. We played Drumchapel. We beat Drumchapel during pre-season and kind of kicking ourselves for the first game of the season, to be honest with you. The week before, we were due to play Cumbernauld in our last friendly, and we had 5 or 6 boys short, and we thought, you know what, we'll just give the boys a weekend off. Gave the boys a weekend off, and then sort of went into the Tuesday, gave them a bit of a heavy session on the Tuesday, and then went to the Lanark game on the Saturday, and we didn't have any strikers available, so we ended up playing 2 of our midfielders as strikers, and came back and bite us. We were very leggy. The grass was really low. It just didn't suit us at all, and we were a bit off it. You know, we didn't have that press that we had, and so yeah, we were disappointed with the first game, but certainly from them we've picked it up. And yeah, listen, we're just taking it a game at a time. We've made a good start. There's no doubt about it. We've got a target on our backs now with these 6 games. But as I said to the boys on Saturday, it's just a start. We start again on next Saturday. You know, that's the start of the next one, and that's important. It's a big game against Larkhall. But yeah, certainly we're happy with the start we've made. But yeah, we need to move forward. We need to keep chasing that next result. You know, that's the next important one.
Yeah, I mean, just going through a couple of games, I want to kind of touch on individually. The opening game against Lanark was obviously a tough one, a 1-0 defeat. But you kicked on for that. 2 big wins. Vale of Clyde 4, Port Glasgow 1. Then you beat Dilray at home as well. They're 2 kind of big games. But the one I want to touch on was the 5-0 win away to Carluke. To win that kind of big margin as well. Carluke, obviously a team maybe struggling at the bottom of the league, but you need to obviously go and win those games and not be complacent. But that must have been a big result, just going there and keeping a clean sheet and being really kind of ruthless on the park. Yeah,
I mean, the Carluke game, to be honest with you, we'd rotated the squad a wee bit because we'd played obviously the 2 games against Dilray and Port, and there's 2 teams like the physical teams, you know what you get when you get into games against that. So we felt we just had to rotate it a wee bit, freshen it up. Went to the game, a couple of boys had it was around the time where a lot of boys had flu and stuff like that as well. So we went into the game, freshened it up, and listen, we were really, really good. We kept the ball. A 4G pitch suits us the way we play as well. We try and get the ball down and we play and we get the ball wide. We've done really, really well. We kept the ball for fun. It was enjoyable to watch. You know, we scored quite early, and then we didn't score again for another 20 to 25 minutes, or leave it at 10 in case, it could become one of those games. But the boys were brilliant. They kept it well, and boy Sinky that we've got in, who's obviously played at a lot higher level, ended up scoring a hat trick. I think it ended up with a perfect hat trick. He scored a left, a right, and overhead kick.
Brilliant. And one game, obviously, we're recording this in Junior Cup weekend, but the game against Gartcairn in the Cup, that must have been because obviously with a team two divisions higher up, there's obviously a fear, but you held yourself well with 2 each draw, and obviously penalties was the kind of the way it goes. It was unlucky. How did you feel about did you take a lot of pride in the Gartcairn game in terms of performance?
I'll be honest with you, Scott, we were so disappointed. We felt we'd done more than enough to win the game in 90 minutes. Although with 2 or 3 minutes to go, we were 2-1 down, but we felt we created so many chances. Listen, we competed with them for 90 minutes, and they knew they were in a game from the start. And to be fair to the manager, came up to us and thanked us and said, look, that was a proper game, well done. She just gave us everything. So yeah, we're disappointed, but we're encouraged at the same time, because myself and Del, also Del's in with me, who we were together at Bells Hill together, but Del, since he's left Bells Hill, he's in with us now. And we spoke about it, and we said, look, that's the level where we are. We know we've got a squad capable of going and competing at that level, and we've got 60, 70 pound players in our squad who are getting 10, 15 pounds. Do you know what I mean? That's the level that we're at, because we're able to offer them that platform to go and play and enjoy it. Listen, I find myself on the sessions that I put on, the guys when they come to training, they know that it's done right. Everything we try and do about the club is as professional as problem. So that's how we're able to attract better players with virtually no budget at all, to be honest. But the boys will come and enjoy it. So we know that we're going in against Gartcairn, and in 2 weeks' time we'll go in against Petershill. They'll go and compete at the high level, and it won't be that we'll launch the ball. That we'll get belief. We've got belief in our players. Our players have got belief in each other. They trust each other. That they'll go and play. So it's encouraging, and we're starting to build momentum. And listen, it's just a start, but we'll keep going.
Yeah, absolutely as well. And as you say, that momentum obviously goes into the Kello game. Home, Kello obviously, I think they'd started 6 games, 6 wins. They'd been kind of unbeaten, really good start to the season. But a 3-2 win away to Kello, obviously league leaders, a lot of pressure, but massive result. How did you feel after that?
Listen, we went into that game knowing they'd won 6 games in a row. We conceded after 3 or 4 minutes as well. So it showed the boys' character, how well they came on from last year. Last year we went down there. We've probably went on and taken a bit of a tanking, to be honest. But we've got a bit of characters in that changing room now. We conceded that early, but we still believed in ourselves. And listen, they'll if you speak to them yourself, they'll say that they got a bit of a doing that day. We kept the ball for fun, but we couldn't get through them. The keeper was plucking it out everywhere. It was sensational. I think how good he was. It was unbelievable. The size of him, and you're looking at it, get it either side of him, you're going to score. The boy was sensational. He was plucking it from everywhere. But at half time, we went in it. I think it was 1 each at half time. I made a small change. I got one of our midfielders to just go and play in the hall rather than going and getting it wide and playing through them wide. I wanted to try and play them through the middle of the park and try and play through them with third man runs and stuff. And listen, we ended up doing that with 3-1 up quite comfortably, managing the game. Missed a penalty. We missed 3 or 4 open chances. Then they score with 2 or 3 minutes to go, and it's a bit, here we go. But listen, the boys stood up, showed a bit of character, defended well the last couple of minutes, and saw out the game, which was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a great start to the season. We'll get your thoughts on your win against Vale Leaving on Saturday later on when we talk about the third division. But we'll move into talking about the kind of action over the weekend. We'll start obviously with the Junior Cup. Just a kind of rundown of some of the results. The likes of Darvel, a 10-1 win over Glentana. I mean, that's what Darvel do. Auchinleck, a 4-2 win away to Rossvale. That sets up a quite interesting occasion in the next round as Auchinleck will host Darvel, and I think that will be the tie of the round. But I want to kind of start with Darvel because obviously during the week it's kind of the Auchinleck thing as well. They've signed Jamie Glasgow, kind of big signing as well. But I mean, with Darvel, obviously the 1-10-1, you see the insane squad depth they've got. Like Craig Moore getting 4 goals, and he's probably not even first choice striker at the moment. So it shows the depth they have. But Jamie came straight in, scored in his debut. As a manager, obviously that having all those players at the disposal was obviously brilliant for kind of squad depth and for injuries and things like that. But you've also got this wee thing as well that I think Mick will be keen to kind of keep an eye on, is you've got to keep all those players happy, because you've got so many starting players who I think it's fair to say would probably get into every other team in the league. But when you've got 6 players fighting for 3 positions, you're going to have times where you're going to get upset. So that I think Mick will manage it no bother. But how would you feel about that as a manager, having all those kind of really good players at your disposal?
Yeah, listen, we're not at Darvel's level by no means, but we've certainly got that issue ourselves. We've got a 21 man squad, and you need to have the depth. If you're going to be successful, you have to have the depth. When you get a 40-game season at least, in our league certainly, it's about talking. It's all about communication, making sure boys know that they'll get their chance, and when they get their chance, it's up to them. I mean, they have to take responsibility. That they have to look after themselves, and make sure that when they do get their chances, that they're ready for it. And then being consistent with your message is what I feel. If you're telling this to players, you have to give them a chance. When they do get their chance, then they keep their place. So, and that's a big thing for me, is it's all about communication, being consistent with the message that you're sending out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously you see it's a massive scoreline, a 10-1 victory, and there's that thing as well. I think when you're playing against a team who maybe have, who are certainly inferior in terms of budget and things like that, but Darvel are just ruthless, and you've seen that already. They have so much at their disposal, and they don't give up. That's the thing. It's not like a case of 5 or 6 now. I think some players would take the foot off the gas and just kind of float down, but Darvel just want to get goals, and I think that's a very admirable thing as well, because I think you've got to look at it that way, that right, we need as many goals as possible. You're playing for your it's that with the thing with squad depth. You're playing for your slot in the team every week, so you need to show, and that's a massive result as well, and it sets up obviously this really interesting occasion in the next round.
Yeah, it's testament to Mick and obviously Southie that they've got that hunger amongst their squad. Because certainly, if you're going to be successful, you need to have it. You need to use your squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Auchinleck obviously 4-2 away to Rossvale. Auchinleck obviously do it time and time again in this competition, but as we say, it's going to be a different test in the next round. It's going to be, I would say, this is probably the tie of the tournament already. I think, well, this could be a very interesting thing to decide who actually goes on and competes at the tail end of the tournament. But a massive one for Auchinleck as well.
Yeah, I'll certainly be interested. Someone in the middle to just go and watch that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Just run through some of our results as well involving the Premier teams. Arthurlie 4, Lugar 0. We also Cumnock beat Ashfield in penalties after a 1-1 draw. Cumnock I want to touch on as well, because Ashfield obviously have started well, but I mean Cumnock did it in penalties. You have to do it one way, and I think these are 2 kind of really, really good teams. I think Ashfield are actually a team to watch this season, because that's going to Cumnock is never an easy place to go, but holding them off to penalty kicks is a massive statement.
Yeah, we've got Ashfield in a couple of weeks actually in one of the cups, so looking forward to it for a couple of good results. So Cumnock, I keep an eye on Cumnock. Also the boy Jordan Moore we had at Bells Hill when I was there, and I've done quite a bit of work with Jordan myself when we were at Bells Hill, so also keep in touch with him and sort of sending me messages saying well done and stuff like that. So it's good to see him doing well as well, and he's got everything in the locker, so I think he can go even higher. He's a cracking lad, works hard, so I keep an eye on the Cumnock results. It's good to see them doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Hurlford as well, 7-0 win over Dundee Downfield. Rob Roy continuing their good start to the season, 3-0 win over Dundee North End. Obviously with this, the Premier team's gone after, and obviously 5-1 away to Rothy Rovers as well. I think that was a big game for Glenafton, because I speak to a couple of punters. I know that they've not been impressed with the way they've been playing, but obviously if you're getting results and you're playing a tough way, it still works, and you know that as well. It's not always about the performances. You've got to just get the results, and going to a place like Rothy is never easy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually speak to Steve quite a bit. I am a mutual friend in that, so he knows the game. He'll set his standards high, and I'm sure he won't be happy. But the happy thing if they're not playing well, I'm not too sure how they're playing. But listen, they keep winning and they keep getting points on the board, or they keep getting out the next round of cups. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Hurlford and Rob Roy continuing their good starts as well. How impressed have you been with them so far?
Yeah, I mean, Rob Roy, I know KP well, obviously, as well as Bill Sill, the keeper. I see he saved, I think it was 2 penalties the weekend there. So, yeah, I know he's another one that's he set standards high as well, and it'll be a bit disappointed with the penalty that he saved, then went and caused a foul, and then he saved the other penalty. But listen, Rob Roy have done fantastic, haven't they? They're on some run as well. I'm not sure how many games they've won in a row, but they've done well.
Yeah, I mean, we had Maxi on a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about just how impressive it's been, because you've got to balance it as well. Like, I don't think a lot of people, including myself, I didn't think Rob Roy would be kind of. I thought they would do okay. I didn't think they would be kind of sitting top of the top 2 places in the league after 4 games. I certainly didn't think that, but it's balancing it as well, because if you're doing it in the league and the cup, you're balancing your squad well. And it's not a big squad like we spoke about, it's like Darrell's squad depth. Stuart doesn't have that level of resources as well, so it's shows you how much of a good job he's doing, kind of balancing that squad and kind of going for it in most competitions.
Yeah, it's a great job he's doing. I'm not sure in the depth that they've got, but certainly just winning every week and just getting that winning mentality in your dressing room and momentum, this all helps.
Yeah, and B's obviously beating Hermes as well, 2-0. Big results for the Premier teams, and it shows that they are obviously a better standard than most of the kind of other leagues in that kind of area. So it shows you that there is a kind of big gap in terms of the juniors, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you can pick that up. I mean, I fancied the Rock the weekend, and they were going up to Lockheed. I mean, Lockheed have been at the top end of the leagues up there for quite a long time, so the Rock going up there and getting a victory sort of shows you that gap that's there. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, and obviously Lockheed done really well in the Scottish Cup last week, so that, I mean, St Roch's going there and winning 2-1's a massive result. But obviously the couple of First Division teams obviously in action during the weekend. Gartcairn 6, they beat Bankery 6-1 away. You've got like obviously Kilbirnie 2-1 away to Glasgow Perthshire. Kilbirnie game I want to touch on. Obviously we won't touch about the kind of rumours we're hearing because we don't know them, but obviously on the field, Kilbirnie, not an easy game going to Glasgow Perthshire. I know they've kind of been up and down so far, but they got the job done in the end, and a big result for Tommy.
Yeah, so we played Perthshire last year. I came in after 10 games last year, and we started to play Perthshire twice. And one of the second or third last games, it was at Perthshire we played, and I'd never been there. I didn't know what to expect, but certainly they put you under some amount of pressure. I'll give them that. They create a good atmosphere, and the way they play, they just get the ball forward as quickly as possible and put you under pressure and try and play percentages. But it's a tough place to go, and to walk away with a result is, obviously pleasing.
Absolutely. Thornleywood going to Forest and winning 1-0 as well. It's the thing with this cup is, like, you're going big distances. That's enough in itself to kind of like change your mindset for a game. But going there and picking up wins, no matter how tight they are, it's so admirable when you see.
I'm quite close with Jamie. Manager Thornleywood. We run our 2014's team together, our kids football. So obviously I'm in regular contact with Jamie. I spoke to him after the game, and he was saying it's just a horrendous journey. I think 9 o'clock or something he was getting home at. But he said they'd done well. They'd taken loads and loads of chances, just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. But yeah, I mean, Jamie again is doing a great job there at Thornleywood, just kicking way above his mark there, isn't he? And he's doing really well, holding his own. But yeah, another great result, and he'll just keep building momentum from that and take it into these league games.
Yeah, Rutherglen beating Greenock 5-1 as well. All West tie. Rutherglen, I think, just shouldn't have showed their class. I spoke to a couple of people at the game. I think Rutherglen were just magnificent in the day. Yeah,
I think they've had quite a tough start in the league, haven't they? But yeah, again, they'll show their class. I think that they've been there and done it as well. So I think maybe just a wee bit of time and they'll kick on again.
Yeah, absolutely. And the result of the weekend, in my opinion, I don't know if you'll agree, Larkhall 3, Benburb 1. Larkhall, obviously, in your league, they've started quite well. And Benburb, obviously, last week beating Dundonald Bluebell, and that shows you Benburb are a really good side. But Larkhall, how impressed you've been with them, and obviously that result on Saturday?
Yeah, listen, I've not seen. Also, I've kept an eye on their scores, and they've been scoring for fun recently. I don't know what's happened or if they've got anyone in, but I think they beat Lanark 6-3 a couple of weeks ago, then beat someone else last week. Quite a good result. But listen, you got to beat better. The Gasworks are a hard place to go. I mean, it's not easy for any team to go to Larkhall and get a result. So Benburb going there and getting a 3-1, getting beat 3-1, fair play to Craw and Kev there. You know, they're really building something there. They've done well, scoring loads of goals. We play them next week, so I'll be doing a little bit of homework on the next couple of days.
Yeah, we'll touch on that later on. Obviously, you host Larkhall next week. But Shotts as well, another team that had a busy journey. They went to Montrose, Rosslea and 1-2-1. I just get so much kind of praise for teams going in those distances because as you say, we've spoken about it a few times already. It's the getting up early. It's the getting kind of
and boys are sacrificing probably work as well.
Aye,
boys,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So boys getting up early, cancelling a shift or whatever they've got and going up there and getting results. It's fair play to them, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And the final result in the first division teams, Blantyre 1-7-6 in penalties away to St Anthony's. Again, kind of St Anthony's probably will take a lot of confidence in that, the fact they held a good team like Blantyre to penalties. But again, kind of two West teams, kind of tightest of margins. It shows you there's when they kind of play each other at times. Although they're in different divisions, there's a lot of teams can have a real go, and it's competitive.
Yeah, definitely. And the answer a decent side. Mm-hmm. I speak to the manager quite not a lot, but he comes to quite a lot of the Vale games and stuff because he played for the Vale and Daniel. They've done well. He's had a tough start, but I think now he'll start turning a corner. I think he's got a few bodies in. Speaking to him just last week, but holding Blantyre, I mean Blantyre at the top of the first, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They're up at the top of the first division.
They're round about, yeah. They're sitting.
Yeah. So I mean that's a good result for the Ants, but losing a penalty is always a sticking into it. I mean, as we get up here, and there's a hero and there's a villain. But yeah,
definitely tough margins. But we'll touch on the kind of results over the weekend. The Junior Cup, Kilsyth were beat by Arbroath Victoria 2-1. We also had you see like some Mary Hill beating Newmains 4-1 in an all West tie. Mary Hill that'll do them a world of good as well because I think they've needed a big result like that. They've not had the best start.
Yeah, I think they've been struggling. I'm not sure. I've seen them at towards the bottom of their division. But we played them last year when I was in at Bells Hill as well, and they're not a bad side. They're a decent side under the manager, but I think the manager's now moved to Bonington. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's Mark Young now, isn't it?
Yeah, so listen, they'll take a bit of confidence for that and kick on maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Tayport 7, Ardeer 1. I think Tayport have got a lot of good players in their team. I think they will be up the kind of top of their league as well. But sore one for Ardeer.
Yeah, it's a tough one to take. I know the manager won't be too happy. We played in our pre-season friendly, quite a competitive bunch. So certainly won't take that well at all.
No,
people
definitely.
are a top side or a top side. I mean, I don't know what they're like these days, but certainly they've been a top side over the years, top junior side. Yeah,
they've always been thereabouts in the kind of Junior Cup as well. And they're kind of around about the top of the league in there. I think the Midlands League they're in, but they're always a top side. Maybole beating Wishaw as well. Maybole have had a good start.
Yeah, very good start. Again, we played them last year at Bells Hill. They're a tough side to play against. They're organised. A couple of ex-pros in their team. They're really decent. I was actually speaking to Dunny, the Wishaw manager, last week, and he was frustrated just with his start of the season and people carrying injuries and suspensions and holidays, and we're struggling to get the same team on the park twice. And I was saying to him, it's one of the hardest things you can do at this level is get the same team on the park twice. I've been in now 13 months at the Vale. I've never been able to do it once.
Yeah.
So that's one of his frustrations just now. So hopefully they'll pick up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but a great weekend for the West teams in the Junior Cup, and obviously we'll touch on the kind of previews for the third round later on. But let's go into the Premier Division. 3 games over the weekend. We start on Friday night. Kilwinning 2, Cambuslang 0. Goals from Kieran Mood and Dylan Mackin giving David Gormley's side a 2-0 win. Again, a lot of people would have probably fancied Kilwinning for that game, but you have to win the game. And I think by all reports, Cambuslang did not make it easy, but Kilwinning did kind of show their class and end up.
Yeah, I think Cambuslang had a tough start, and I don't really like the 1-1 and lost 5.
Yeah, they had a big result against Arthur the last week.
Yes, yeah. I think the loss of the boy Gemmel's massive for them. We played them in a pre-season, sort of Christmas, around the Christmas period last year. He played, and he's just another level. He's really, really good. So I think even just his character in the dressing room will be a big loss for them, and try to replace that is tough. It's not easy to find someone that's a leader like Gemmell. So a good result though, all the same with Cullinan.
Yeah, Cullinan. I think a big win for Cullinan as well. That's their second win of the season after 4 games. They've obviously had the good run in the Scottish Cup, and that'll be a big win for them in the league. But we'll move into the game at Newlands Field on Saturday. We had 2 games in the West Premier Division on Saturday, but Pollock 4, Clydebank 1. By all reports, a very tight, tightly, hotly contested game. Both teams were reduced to 10 men. But Pollock, I've said as well, they've been very impressive so far this season. They had the tough result against Bees, but they're getting it done. They're winning games. They're playing well. Stuart McCann's obviously scored a double, continues to do it at this level, always as in amongst the goals. Sean Byrne got a goal as well. Really good performance from Pollock, actually.
Yeah, it's one of the results you always look for, because, again, they've got so much depth, I think. I think they've got as much, maybe not as much as Darvel, but they've certainly got the depth around their squad, and they've got a good youth set up and all, where they've got players coming through their system if they're short. So we played them last year in the Cup, and they'd rested some of the players, they'd played some of the youths, and their youths coming through are really good as well. So I'm not surprised to see them doing really well. Tough one for Moff to take, right enough.
I think Moff, I spoke to Moff after the Troon game. He was kind of disappointed that 2 wins for 5 games. I think Moff will turn it round. I don't think there's any issue with that, but it's already I know there's only 5 points between. I mean, you see how tight that league is, but Clydebank won't want to be behind that much. They'll obviously want to compete at the top. They won't be wanting to get too far behind, and obviously they want to go on a run pretty quickly.
Yeah, I've had quite a dealings with Moff over the pre-season. I've got a player in on loan, we tied in on loan from, so kind of understanding how he is as a manager, and I think he'll turn it around. I don't think there's any two doubts about it. I mean, I think he's got very high standards, and he'll make sure that he turns it around. He'll work hard at getting it, so I don't think there'll be any issues whatsoever at Clydebank.
No, there definitely isn't. I think they'll just be wanting to get a run together quickly. But 2 teams that maybe needed a win, and it resulted in 1 each draw. Irvine Meadow 1, Largs Thistle 1. Largs are now up to 7 points for 6 games, where Irvine Meadow are in 4 points for 4 games. Irvine Meadow obviously still have a few games in hand, but George will be wanting to get a run going quickly as possible, because he's just in the job. Obviously, results weren't going in their favour. Obviously James and Colin are no longer there, but even result by the sounds of it. Spoke to a couple of people there. I think a draw was probably a fair result in the end up.
It's difficult to come in at the time as came in as well, and then try and get a run going. So you need to try and get your own stamp on your team. It's not your team essentially. So I'm sure it'll take a couple of weeks for him to set his marker and then try and kick on. But yeah, nothing wrong with starting with a draw as on their first game.
No, definitely not. And it'll be tough for George, because he'll want to make his own stamp in the squad. He'll just be wanted. I think morale will be quite low, just obviously with kind of 2 good guys like James and Colin leaving. So coming in, it'll probably take a bit of time to settle. But we have to say about Largs as well. I mean, I was of the mindset that Largs would struggle this season, but so far they've had 7 points. They've only lost 1 game. They've drew 4. They've had a good start. They'll maybe be wanting to convert a couple of their draws into wins, but 7 points for 6 games, it's a decent enough start.
Yeah, it's not just sniffed at, is it? No, they've done well. I think it's a hard place to go to as well and get a result. So if they can try and build on that, build a bit of fortress at their home games, get results at home, then I'm sure they'll kick on. They'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be interesting to see how Largs end up. But obviously, 2 games in the first division, both ended in 1-1 draws. Johnson 1, Cumbernauld 1, and Bonneton got a late equaliser to hold Nielsen to a 1-1 draw. I think Nielsen were probably looking at that game as a chance to go top of the table, but they were held to a 1-1 draw. Bonneton getting the first points of the season. We'll start there. Big point for Bonneton. Gets them off the bottom of the league.
Yeah, massive point. I mean, I think they've had quite a tough start, and they've taken a couple of doings as well. So I'm sure they'll take a bit of confidence from that. The manager, he was the Maryhill manager, and by all accounts, I'd quite a couple of dealings with him, try to get friendlies and that organised. Seems a really, really good guy, and I think he works quite hard at the job as well. So I'm sure he'll turn that around. It takes a bit of time. He's just in. He's trying to build that team back up. So I'm sure he'll take his time and be successful.
Yeah, I like Ross. Any time I spoke to him, he's been a really nice guy as well. And I think going into Bonnet, I think there's a lot of expectation that they're going to struggle. But I think if you seen Saturday there, and you saw against Clydebank, they were 2-1 up against Clydebank in the cup.
Yeah.
They can dig in. They've got a tremendous fight, and I think Ross will be implementing that. I think they want to get some players in. They want to kind of build, but obviously with this league, we know. I mean, you look at this league and just now how stacked it is. It's going to be tough. We know that, and it's going to be tough if you've not got the players and things like that. It's going to. You need to get a run going to maybe try and get anywhere in this league, and there's so many good teams. It's hard to get a run going. I mean, we're seeing it. There's St. Cadoc's the only team unbeaten, and they've only played 4 games, and they're sitting in 8th position. So it shows you just how tight that league is.
Yeah, it's a tough league. I speak to Jamie about it every week. It's sort of talk to each other who they've got and stuff like that. And it's such a stuffy league, and every game you go into play, it's bigger than the next. It's I think it'll be one of those. I think it'll be a winter league, really. Who can kick on in the winter, and who sort of drops off. I think the style of play that a lot of those teams will play, the winter it'll sort of determine who goes up and who goes down. I think.
I think I think your league's the 3rd division is another league like this. I don't see a team breaking away. I think this will go down to the final day. I think there'll be 4 or 5 teams round about the top all the way through the season, but. Johnson won, Cumbernauld won. 2 teams that have started pretty well. I know Cumbernauld obviously the 3-point deduction, but Cumbernauld are sitting in 6 points with 6 games. Obviously that doesn't reflect. They've actually had a good start. They've only lost 1 game. But Johnson as well, I want to touch on them. 7 games and they've got 11 points. That's a good start in this league. And I think a lot of people fancy Johnson to have a really good season. I think Jamie's done probably as good a job as anyone in that league at the moment. And it's a massive, massive task for both managers as well. Cumbernauld was a good side, and a draw was probably a fair result. I would have heard, as I've heard.
Yeah, I mean Johnson brought another tough place to go to try and get a result. But certainly they did a great end to the season last year. They really kicked on. I think after Christmas, I'm not sure they lost many games after Christmas. They kept winning and plugging away and getting results. So yeah, fair play to them, both of them. Cumbernauld, I know Tony will have them. He'll be working hard behind the scenes as well. I mean, I don't think they've had a good start. I know they've lost 3 points, didn't they? Was that
they lost to as it says here, an ineligible player. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I think it was during the fiasco, but a lot of teams were getting caught with ineligible players.
A tough gig that. A thankless task being a secretary, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But only 1 game in the 2nd division this weekend, and Glasgow University continue their really good run so far. A 1-0 win over Yoker. A lot of people thought this would be a tight game. Glasgow Uni coming off an amazing result away to Forest last week in the Scottish Cup. What another really good result as well, because Yoker, I think, have surprised a lot of people as well. They had a really good start and a big result for Glasgow Uni.
Yeah, a massive result. That I think a lot of people fancy Yoker to go and win that league, or certainly be right up the top of the league. So again, team we played last year, very well organised. They've got a system that they play to. Everyone knows their jobs. So fair play to Glasgow Uni. Glasgow Uni still playing at Airdrie Stadium, are they?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
So 2-4G team. So I can imagine it'd be quite a quick, well played game. So yeah, well done. Fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Glasgow Uni go to host Albion Rovers in the next round of the Scottish Cup as well. So big occasion for them. That'll be a massive occasion for the club as well. 3rd division, let's obviously start with the Vale derby. Vale of Leaving 0, Vale of Clyde 4. Another big result for yourselves. What went right in the day?
Yeah, so it was a good game. It was very, very feisty. I mean, they tried to Vale of Leaving certainly tried to create a feisty environment, and try to bring us down. Yeah, there was a lot of free kicks and fouls in the game. I felt the referee lost control. I don't like referees affecting the game at all, but just felt it didn't protect the players enough. And then when the players were asking and questioning, he was booking them. So, and then at half time, there was a wee bit of melee handbags, and he comes in and chaps the door and sends my centre half off and sends their striker off. So we're both down to 10 men at half time, and then I'm very positive manager. I won't really change. I'll always try and be attacking minded. So we changed the system slightly to be a little bit more aggressive going forward. And yeah, we got the ball down and we played. We played quite well. We got the ball down, enjoyed it. We're patient with it and played through them. We ended up scoring some 3 second half goals that are really, really good.
Brilliant. And obviously that means they kind of use it in a good position in the league. But Kello against Lanark United, these are 2 teams that I would probably say a lot of people would fancy kind of to be up there yourselves and like so around that league. It's see between those kind of 8 teams at the top of the league, every game between them is going to be really, really kind of tight and competitive. But Kello a 2-0 win, a big kind of result obviously after when you beat them, obviously to go and kind of beat Lanark, kind of another promotion kind of type team. Big result for Kello and obviously gets them back in the top of the league.
Yeah, I fancy Kello the weekend, to be fair. We're talking about this on Thursday at training. I fancy Kello, they're just relentless with the pressure. They just don't stop. And Lanark they're quite young. They've got quite a young side. Don't really have much experience on the side. They've got 1 or 2 experience, but they're quite young. So I fancy Kello with that long ball pressure just to go and win that. And yeah, they've done that. So they've turned up after also losing to ourselves. So see what it takes them. Yeah, I'm not sure who they've got next. I think they've got another tough game next weekend.
Yeah, and obviously East Kilbride, the situation with East Kilbride Thistle's been a big kind of thing. But obviously during the week, obviously condolences to the family of Alan Patterson. Yeah. Kind of a lot of what you kind of memories, Alan. Obviously he was a big name in junior football, but obviously that a really kind of close relationship with East Kilbride and obviously the East Kilbride senior team. What was your kind of memories, Alan, and how kind of sore a loss is this to the kind of the whole community actually?
It's difficult for me to comment on, Scott. I mean, I've been out of the country for 13 years, so I was over in Dubai and that, so I didn't really have any dealings with Alan, to be perfectly honest, but certainly pass my condolences to him. I know he's left some young children behind, so certainly a sad occasion, but I'm sure they're happy to see East Kilbride pick up 3 points on Saturday.
Yeah, big result for them as well, obviously due to the kind of manager situation. And Finar, obviously another team who've been quite impressive. That'll be a massive 3 points for them. Obviously after the week they've had, but obviously just results haven't been good enough. A big squad. The squad will obviously know that the results haven't been up to standard, so that'll be a massive 3 points for them.
Yeah, we played them a couple of weeks ago, and listen, they've got a lot of experience, a hell of a lot of experience. I think they don't have that the blend and the mix right of the experience and youth and legs round about the experienced boys. But listen, that's not for me to comment on. They've got a lot of good players, and I think the experienced boys will drive, sort of set standards and drive and help turn that around. Whoever the manager will be, I'm not sure if they've announced that yet, have they?
I don't think so, no. Girvan have got a new manager though. Robert Wells has come in for Dalry Thistle, the amateur team. Dalry Thistle, Daily Amateurs, why am I saying Dalry? And a 1-1 draw against Les Mahago. That'll be a big point because Les Mahago had a really good start as well. Kind of even game by the sounds of it. I think Girvan will pick up because I think they've got a really, really good squad.
Yeah, we played Girvan a week on Saturday, actually down there, so that'll be a tough game. But by all accounts, I heard they scored in the 91st minute. I think equaliser in the 91st minute. So yeah, I think a lot of people fancied Girvan to be up there. So I'm sure the new management team will be looking to sort of turn that around and get them back up the division.
Yeah, absolutely. And another team who are kind of looking to get a couple of wins on the board, and they've had a really good start so far. Are Drawson 5-1 away to Solco. I think Drawson are a really, really good side, and I think they will continue to keep a run going because although it looks they're sitting in 14 points, they're 7th behind obviously yourselves and that kind of top those 6 teams that have kind of pulled away. There's a 4-point gap, but they will get a run going because they've got a lot of really good players, and that's another big result.
They're a new team, and they're a team that's sort of just been put together over the summer. A new management team in there. The boy, I know the assistant manager, boy McGowan.
Gavin Fields is in there.
Yeah, so I think they will go on a run. I know they've got the boy that was from Chapel last year, is it Chrissy Craig, who's got loads of quality. So I'm sure they'll be up there challenging when the time's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other result of the weekend, Killook managed to get their first win of the season in a 3-2 win over Royal Albert. That's a big win for Killook because they're obviously just getting that first win, it gives you a bit of confidence.
Yeah, I think they'll kick on and build from that now. I know Paul's been working really hard to try and get players in and try and attract players, which is tough when you're sitting at the bottom of the third division. But I think he's such a likeable guy, and I think he'll certainly turn that around with the right people around him in a bit of time. I think he's managed to bring in a couple of players, and hopefully that result will let them kick on.
Yeah, absolutely. One game in the fourth division, and it was a really tight game. The two teams at the top of the table, 3-1, Kilsyth Athletic 3. Kilsyth Athletic, obviously, that's their sixth win of the season for 6 games, and it was kind of 200% records in the line, but Kilsyth Athletic going to 3, and that not an easy journey by any stretch of the imagination, and going there, 3 were a really good side. They had a really good start. Big result for Kilsyth.
Yeah, it's a big statement with Kilsyth. I mean, I know they've got the young people refer to him as a young lad as a manager. He's very young, but he's certainly making people come round and take notice. And they've done well. He's picked up a lot of good results. 3 Rovers obviously speaks for himself. They're a big club as well, big side. So to go down there and get a result, that's a great result.
Yeah, absolutely. A massive result for Kilsyth Athletic, and gives them a 3-point lead at the top of that table. But that will be another really competitive league. There's a lot of good teams in there. But we also had the Strathclyde Demolition Cup. I'll just run through results, and you can give me a result that caught your eye. My one is obvious because this is an unbelievable game. Campbelltown 1, Thorn 2, Drumchapel 5, St Peters 1. Eglinton 6, Port Glasgow 5, St Cadoc's 8, Harmony Road 0, West Park 1, Renfrew 2, and Whitlets beat 4-3 in penalties after a 3-3 draw. And we've got to start with that Eglinton game. I mean, just a goal fest. But what a result for Eglinton.
Yeah, it must have been an exciting game to watch for the neutral enemy, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Massive result for Eglinton. I know how much they've obviously needed a kind of big run, and to go to a team above you and win 6-5. Huge result. St Cadoc's obviously an 8-0 win over Harmony Row. Just a real impressive performance for St Cadoc's. I think obviously John going back to Harmony Row, a big result for him. But result catch your eye in that cup?
Yeah, I think the St Cadoc's result was quite a big result. 8-0 is a massive statement into it. I know they've not really played. I think they've only played 4 games in the league so far. Is that right, St Cadoc's? So they've got a lot of quality in their side, and they'll be looking to sort of kick on from that. I think that really made a big statement for me, that one.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Erskine and Grant Anderson both with hat tricks. It shows that these two can have really experienced players, and they're both delivering on the park. It's massive for them.
Yeah, definitely. And again, they'll have that depth similar to Darvel and Pollock, I think. So I expect them to be up there when it matters.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a really good season as well. But we'll touch obviously on, before we wrap up the show, Vale of Clyde, we'll touch on a few of your games coming up. As you say, I'll touch on the cup games first. You have obviously 2 away trips, Petershill and Ashfield in the South and West Cup. They're 2 massive chances to spring a surprise. Obviously, divisions above. How kind of confident you feeling getting into those games?
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly looking forward to it. Petershill's a massive game for us. We also were in a division last season, so we're looking forward to taking that game on. Hopefully we've built kept that run going that we're on just now to go into that game, and momentum can take you so far. So we'll be looking forward to it. A Premier side. There's no stretch of imagination. We won't be underestimating them at all. We'll give them all the respect, but we'll certainly be going at them and having a go at them. So we manage, we set the teams out. So we'll give them respect. We'll definitely be going at them and going there to get through to the next round of the cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously a case in the league as well. We said there, home to Larkhall on Saturday, massive game. Away to Girvan. There's a few really kind of exciting games lined up for yourselves. Is it just a case of keeping this run going and hopefully just building more and more confidence over the season?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, from my side, we'll just take one game at a time. I just keep telling the boys, let's see this, here he goes again. It's just the run starts the next game. That's it. What we've done the last 6 games, it doesn't matter. You're only as good as your last game. Your next defeat. So we just need to go and keep building that momentum and take each game as it comes. I'll do my homework. I'll set us up properly. Me and Dell set the team out. We'll work hard the next 2 days for that call game. Set up the team how we think it should be set up for the game, and go and approach it the same as we have the last 6.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, as well, kind of that league, you just look how tight that league is. There's a lot of really good teams in it. Do you keep an eye on other teams in the league, or is it just focusing on your own team?
Yeah, we just kind of focus on our own dressing room, to be honest with you. What happens round about is we can't control. We can only control what's in our dressing room, what we do on a Saturday, and how we apply ourselves at training. So it's all about. On Thursday there, I knew we were going to have a big game on Saturday. Mm-hmm. That Thursday there was the best training session we've had since I came in, and we were really active, we were good. So we prepared right, we set up right, and then we build on from there.
Brilliant. Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure to be on the show. Thanks very much for going through the results, and best of luck for the season ahead.
Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.